One memento. All right. So there we go. I think we are now recording. So this week we're going to be talking about goals and kind of picking up from where we left off last week with Linda's presentation about building goals, selecting goals, designing goals that are effective. We still have a few more people kind of coming on. So as you come on, feel free to mute yourself. Linda, did you have any, did you want to kind of summarize from last week, or is there anything specific you wanted to say before we got going?
I just want to say I want to make sure that people talk about their own goals on one hand and the goals of what they'd like to do with the co-op or get from the co-op this year on the other hand. I just want to make sure that people address both things because I'm trying to plan out the year for what we want to, what kind of programming we want. And so I'd like to hear from all of that. And I will go if you want when you get started, Matt. I'll go first so that I can then just sit and take notes after that.
Lead by example. That sounds great. All right, perfect. So I've put that up here on the screen. I think everybody's seeing the screen that's saved here. So we're going to ask you very simple. What are your goals? And it's okay if you don't have, your goals have been thought out. Maybe you got that email from Susan, just this morning, and you haven't really thought of it very much. But if you have some initial goals, and you feel free if you want to share them, we'd be happy to do that. And then also, what do you want to see from the co-op? We've done a lot of talks. We've had a lot of different concepts have been brought up this year around marketing, around publishing, around grammar. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff in the last year, specifically via the pandemic, via your, the information superhighway here on the screen. What are you hoping for this year? Hopefully we'll be getting back into person maybe towards the end of the year. But what are you looking for in terms of the meetings? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? Probably less of Matt talking, things like that. So what we'd like to do is probably go around the table. We'll start with Linda here, and then she can keep notes on everybody else. So what we'll do is I'll just run down the tree of the people who are on the meeting. And if you had your goals, and then what would you like to see for the co-op? We have about 10, 12 people on right now. If we go 5 minutes each or maybe less, that will give us an hour. Feel free to go ahead and start here, Linda, if you want, and I'll sit on mute if you have any questions.
Okay. My goals are similar to ones from last year, although I've shifted them a bit. My big focus this year is on writing content because I fell down completely last year on that. I want to write 200,000 words of fiction this year, which comes out to 4,167 words a week for 48 weeks, and with 4 weeks off where I don't have to do anything. And I also want to write one nonfiction piece a month, and I'm not quite sure what that's going to be, but I'm going to try it. The other thing is I want to remain really flexible and ready to shift what I'm doing for the year. And I'm going to reassess that quarterly because I just feel like this year's going to be, I feel like it's going to be another roller coaster ride because there's a lot of work to be done and in so many areas. And I'm not sure what the market is going to be like and how fast the economy is going to rebound. The other thing is I want to make sure I underschedule my task lists and my calendar, leaving some days and most evenings free because I've been just working way too much and I've been on the edge of burnout for a long time. I want to continue publishing once a month because that has really helped a lot, but it means that I need to write like a short story before February and get it ready to go. And similar things like that. I want to continue to schedule learning because I'm having so much fun watching teaching videos about writing right now. I'm not watching any of the ad stuff right now because I'm just focused on the writing at the moment. I want to do a free promo every 2 months to build my newsletter up because it's getting enough people have dropped off that I kind of feel like I need some new blood in there. And so I'm going to do that. and offer a free something. I haven't figured out beyond that because I don't have to figure it out till next month. I'm going to continue blogging twice a month, one book review and one newsy blog, and continue sending out my newsletter twice a month, one with the book review link and the other the newsy blog. I mean the newsy newsletter. And those are my goals, and not I didn't have anything as far as a co-op goal just because I'm doing all the programming. So yeah, I have no goals for the co-op other than to just do programming. So I'm done.
Fantastic. Those are very ambitious, as always, Linda. Thank you for doing that, sharing. Let's see. What we'll do is maybe we'll go down. Is there anything you want to actually? Since you're doing the programming, I'm going to turn your question back on you, to Linda. What do you want to see from the co-op? What are you looking for specifically?
Well, I know that I was going to try to do it this month, but I can't. I know that I need to update my websites, and so I need to know what the new style is. And some good basic stuff about websites and what's current and what's not. That would be an awesome program that I would love to see. And other than the rest, and I would like Matt for you to do something on how do you say it? On getting people to open your newsletters and click on things. I need something that's really focused on that. That's not on the how-to do a newsletter, but that's more on the engagement section. And when I was looking at this list that Susan sent out, I was thinking of connection, and I don't know how to do connection. I'm not good at it. I just marvel at what Tony does and the things that she comes up with to connect with other writers. And I look at that and I go, well, if I don't actually meet them somewhere in the flesh and have a conversation with them, then I don't know how on earth to connect with them online. And I know that you do a lot of that. Yeah. So that would be a good thing to, do something about, do a short thing about.
We had a question from Andy for you, Linda. Mm-hmm. What is the ultimate goal for your writing? Is it to pay? Is it a paying readership, bestseller list? You want to unseat J.K. Rowling as the richest female writer on the planet? What is the goal?
Well, okay, I have a couple goals. One is to make money, because I would love my writing, everything to pay for itself, and to have some extra completely, so we could be, retire and things. The other thing, but the main thing when I think about my writing is, one, I want to have fun while I'm writing. That's crucial, because if I can't have fun while I'm writing, then I just get cranky. Mm-hmm. And the other one is I want to entertain people. I want people to come away from something I've read and feel a sense of satisfaction and that it was interesting or it moved them. So I'm still working on that, but because I think I've got some work to do in that area. But because I don't think that I put enough emotion into my writing. So that's one of my goals this year, is to do more of that.
No, that's a great question, Andy, especially to somebody as prolific as you are, Linda. It is nice to see, as kind of a benchmark what to go for. Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Linda. If you got anything else, or you're already back on mute. She's already run away. That's that part of that connection problem that you're suffering from, Linda.
No, I'm just trying not to cough in everybody's faces,
I know. Hey, and so, Andy, that was a wonderful segue to Andy. Do you have any goals? And do you have anything from the co-op you would like to see?
Hi, everybody. I'm in the process now of trying to determine what my goals are actually going to be. I have some conceptual goals for my writing. The biggest goal that I have right now is one, I need to get published. And so I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do a self-publishing. And then the reason why to publish is I want readership. And my ultimate goal, it seems a little quirky, but I really would love to see my book in the library. Like if I walk into the Snohomish Library someday and see my book, that's my goal. So in terms of what I'm hoping to see from the co-op, I'm not sure at this point. I gather so much during these meetings, and then I sort of ruminate over them over the period of weeks. And so just listening to you folks talk about what you're doing, how you're doing it, the techniques of it, the details of it all, has been actually very helpful to me. And so, as you know, if we continue along the same lines that we have been going, I'm good with that. I may have some more detailed needs and wants from the co-op, but for right now, they haven't really solidified in my mind in what form and format they would take. So that's
Cool.
that's my goal for writing. Do you want to hear about my other life goals?
Do they pertain to writing?
No. But life pertains to writing. So of course they do. We're always influenced by our own lives and our writing. So yeah, everything that we do influences what we put pen and paper to.
So maybe we need to have the next social be about where we talk about our life goals.
Very deep. Philosophical.
Yeah, I would find that helpful and interesting to know what other people are doing. I mean, for me personally, I like to put myself next to other people in comparison, just to kind of keep me on the straight and narrow, that I don't get too flighty with what I'm contemplating. It's something that I've learned through this isolation of the pandemic, and at the same time having entered into retirement. I don't have the daily back and forth with people that sort of helped me stay grounded at times. So I tend to entertain fantasy too much in isolation, like, oh, I can do that. Oh, I should do this. Or, you know, your internal conversations don't get to be squelched or modulated with outside influences from other people. So
I think that's a really good idea. We've had a couple people thumbs up on that comment. Linda, that might be something we can put together here in the next week or two as kind of a social. That's a good idea. Very good. Thank you, Andy. I think having a meeting about life goals would be a nice thing for everybody. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to go right down the list. The next person is Christine. If you wanted to come off mute and tell us what your current writing goals for this year are and what you would like to see from the co-op, that would be helpful. I'm watching. She's still muted. There she is. How are you?
I am working on a picture book, children's picture book. I would like to get that finished and published. I'm self-publishing that. And I'm also continuing to work on my memoir. I'm not going to finish that this upcoming year. No way. But I want to keep working on that, and I want to keep. I do want to get my children's book finished and available. I don't know if you guys can help me with. I need to learn how to get my children's book into Ingram Spark, but you guys can't help me with that.
We do have some people who do Ingram. Maybe it might be a good breakout for you to find that person. Linda, do you use Ingram, or do you know who uses Ingram?
I do, and I know it's a little bit different for picture books because you've got a totally different file. But I know some of the stuff about Ingram, and I know Roland, I believe, has used Ingram, and he has a lot of graphics in his, and so he may be a better resource. I'm not sure.
Okay. I thought you had asked, well, not you, Linda, but the group had asked what we could present on in the future.
that's also one of the questions. If you have something that you want to present on, put it out there because I would like to hear about it.
Okay, so my bachelor's is in art, drawing, painting, sculpture. My master's is in K-8 education. And one of the things we learned there in our literature class was 6 traits of writing. And I would like to present on the 6 traits of writing to try to help group members raise their level of writing. Because I mean, even if you're a great writer, you can always improve. And so I think that would be helpful for people.
Absolutely. I got it down. Yeah, we all need to learn more about writing. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Stephen King learns, nobody quits. That's why we do this.
Yeah. So I guess that's it.
Well, that's fantastic. I think those are great ideas. I think more writing crafts might be a good thing for us. I know we do talk a lot about marketing here, but writing craft is. I agree with you, Christine. Is very important. Okay, great. So thank you for sharing. Head on back to mute. Andy, I'm going to mute you. Looks like you were still unmuted. Unless you had something to say, I will go to Mr. Edward Sergoyan. If you want to come off mute and share with us what are your goals this year and what would you like from the co-op?
Afternoon, everyone.
Hey.
I've got 2 goals for 2021. Of course, I'm so happy I survived 2020. The first goal is the 2 goals really are linked. They are 2 manuscripts that I've just about completed. The first manuscript has an enormous amount of artwork, and it's based on how to design an Oriental rug in its original process or technique that's 4,000 years old. It's tough to find a publisher who will publish works that have a great deal of pictures and photographs and so forth. So that's a struggle for me. If anyone has any suggestions, I'll be happy to take advice. The second is that I've got a manuscript that the first 6 chapters are the introduction. And so I'm looking for editors and mainly copy editors and beta readers that would be willing to take a look at a fantasy story that just seems to have a lot of detail. As to specifics about our co-op, I'm interested in specific help with websites, Facebook ads, promotional structures that are available. I don't have a lot of time to devote to marketing, and so any quick set of instructions is best for me. In terms of content from the co-op, again, copy editor lists, editing advice, content editing, beta readers, anything that will help to evaluate a story content with some objectivity. I found the anthologies to be very, very useful. They motivated me to write a number of short stories that, for whatever reason, I assume 2020 has had an impact on our publishing skills because we haven't had any word on how these stories will be published. But a more structured publishing effort probably is needed for the co-op if we're going to continue with the quarter-to-quarter anthologies that people have been seeking.
Yeah, Edward, we kind of fell behind on the best laid plans, but right now it's on track to be formatted towards the end of this month, and
Yeah.
so I'm guessing we're publishing sometime next month. I'm not sure where the other one's at. Joel's not here, so I can't speak for that one, but
I made contributions to both the 7 Deadly Sins and the Best Laid Plans, and I haven't heard back on either one of those, so I don't know what the status is. I also, as treasurer, want to remind everyone to update your dues to the co-op because that is part of the budget that we use in order to make things happen for everyone through the year. And if you can get the dues paid early in the year, then I don't have to track and prorate the dues as they come in during the year and try to keep I don't want to make any enemies, and sometimes people get upset if I don't keep accurate record on just exactly when they officially paid their dues into the co-op. So that's as much as I've got, Matt.
Okay, cool. That's a great reminder on dues. We'll make sure to, I know we were talking about possibly having one of our steering committee meetings, and we'll talk about, Christine, yes, I believe that's the price. Having a steering meeting, we'll make sure to make this a priority, make sure all dues are coming in this year.
All it really takes is a letter to the entire membership to remind them of what the cost is for us to keep going the way we are.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure to take that as a point. Thank you for sharing. I agree with all of your requests. There was Andy had a comment to you, Edward, about your rug book that maybe possibly a university press might be interested as maybe a college reference.
My rug book?
I'm sorry. It was referenced as your I'm sorry.
Exotic Oriental Carpet manual.
Yes, your Exotic Oriental Carpet book.
Monograph.
Edward, I'm a child of the internet, so I have to shorten everything. You had too many words, so I said rug.
Very good. What was the question?
He had basically a comment that have you looked into doing any publishers with universities, maybe as a reference book?
I have an extensive list of most of the things that I've written have been published by an outside publisher. So I've got an extensive list of publishers. Unfortunately, the ones that I've contacted anyway claim that the budget set aside for illustrations, artwork, photographs, just precludes them from participating simply because they're not going to be able to make a profit. So I'm either going to be forced to self-publish, which is very difficult with artwork, or else get lucky and find someone on a more extensive list than I've got right now.
Okay. I may have some comments, Edward, about maybe ideas if you do go the self-publish route to promote it. So maybe we can take that offline on an email. Okay, great. So thank you, Edward. I'll go ahead and put you on mute. Joe, Heidi, you're next on the list. What would you guys have for goals, and what would you like to see from the co-op?
Let's see. So 4 illustrated books is one of the goals. Some picture books, illustrated books, a rhyme book, a Halloween book, a Christmas book. I'm going to hopefully, we're going to get to a rough draft of the Alibaba story, which, Matt, about.
Chapter book.
Yeah, the chapter book, which will probably, I have a lot of work, I think, to do on that one before
Yep.
Keep going. You were saying, Matt?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you. I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. Also, we have a puppet, a Bart the Bat Muppet puppet that we're working on, just getting somebody to make for us. So we can do U-Time, like have YouTube. U-Time. My mind, it's going too fast. I think we're going to do some old-timey stories that Bart the Bat will like mess with it. We'll have me and Joe and different things going on. It'll just be really goofy and fun.
It's part of our YouTube channel. It's part of promotion.
Yep. Also, I have something going on right now. Last year I had a bunch of people that all of a sudden started showing up on my page because I showed my little teddy bat that I have. saying they wanted it. And I had over 100, probably like 150 people who said they were interested in one. And I'm just getting to the point where there's a company that will be making Teddy Bat. I had somebody draw up plans and everything for it. So it's really cute. It's even cuter than I think the Teddy Bat I have now. And so we'll have that made up, a prototype, and then we'll do a Kickstarter for that.
For the actual funding of
Yep.
it.
For the
we'll
funding.
see where that one goes. Knock on wood.
Yep, we'll see. So just gathering interest on that, and people right now, I just basically put something up saying who is interested, again. My books are going to be in Edmonds. I'm going Tuesday to bring my books to a bookstore down there, so I'm excited about that. And that also was helped by, thank you, Tony, for everything you do. But I was emailed by that shop and asked, to bring my books, and said they'd be interested in working with it. And Tony got a really good deal and really worked with them. Let me see what else. I've done some ads. I'll do some more, I'm sure. I'll also do some book funnel.
Yeah, the book funnel for the book funnel.
Yep.
Yeah, book funnel.
Yeah, Crafty Bees.
Yeah, we did a giveaway for a coloring book we put together, and we ended up with about 100 subscribers to our email.
Yeah,
over
so
it,
we'll
that
probably.
was really useful.
We were thinking of doing some more, like having my artist draw up some more things for another coloring book, like for Valentine's Day and all. But I'm not sure. We might just decide to work on the 4 books, because that's what we really want to get
maintain
done.
our focus. Yeah.
Yep. We'll do more ads. The co-op. I know somebody was saying. I wrote something down here about, all of us, when you hear about all the stuff that goes on at the co-op, especially as somebody that's new. And when I first walked into your meetings, I was just like, because it's just overwhelming. There's so much. And it's just, I think really it's overwhelming hearing all this stuff, but it's also a one step in front of the other kind of thing, where little by little you figure it out, and you just, you take your time.
It's that the plate is full concept. You can only fill up so much, but you keep coming back and you digest what you get, and it works really well.
Are you saying it's a buffet?
No, it's many dinners.
Many dinners.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Buffet co-op. Yeah. Okay, so I think, is that it, Joe Bear? Yep. Thanks.
Hey, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I echo the same thing. It can feel very daunting. It feels like sometimes, but I think one step in front of the other, and after a year or so of pushing the ball down the field, you realize, wow, I'm pretty far from where I started. So I agree with you. I have a request to the children's book people in this co-op to maybe someone to do a talk on laying out a children's book, how you do a final thing, what tools you do, how you import that into, the KDP dashboard, what type of design considerations you have to make, where do you get your templates, what are the file formats, all of that stuff. I would love like a comprehensive children's book, talk, like an hour and a half, maybe 2 episodes.
Joe's being silent, but we can do it.
Yep.
We can do it.
I know you mentioned something about Ingram Spark.
Yeah.
We put books on Ingram Spark, but
yes,
what we've noticed is the books we sell on Amazon do a whole lot better than on Ingram Spark. But we could go over what we did there as well.
Either one.
And I asked this selfishly because I may be doing kind of like more of a graphic oriented book, and so I wanted to see what type of considerations you guys have for, inserting graphics into your books and all of that type of stuff. So that would be what I would like to see. And maybe Christine could be part of that as well, because she does children's books as well. So that would be awesome. Linda, you can put, I have voluntold people to do things.
I noticed that. You're really good at that.
I do it very nicely so they don't get upset.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Because and it would be good to have both Christine and Heidi do it and Joe do it, because I'm sure that there are some differences in your approaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tools we use probably.
Yes, the tools is what I was thinking.
Yeah, for ours we use InDesign and
Yep.
Photoshop a lot. So
Yep.
just
Cool.
FYI.
All right, great. I'd love to hear about all that. All right, perfect. So thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate it. I'll put everyone back on mute. I am looking at Lori is next. Lori, how is your cover work going? Have you done your homework? What are your goals? What would you like to see from the co-op? I think she's still on mute. She's run away. I brought up covers.
No, I'm here.
Hello, how are you?
Oh,
You're very faint. Would you be able to talk closer to your microphone, or?
is this better?
That is a lot better, thank you.
I do need help on other writers who write in omniscient. Does anybody else do that here?
You're talking about like a third-person omniscient?
Yes.
Yes, I know a lot of people write in third person here. Yes, maybe if somebody, so Susan's done it. It looks like that may be someone to reach out to.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. But what are your goals, and what do you want to see from the co-op?
I'm so distracted by the remodeling project that I haven't come up with much except to work on my writing, which I'm doing on Scribofile, and have had good help from another member of the co-op. So
Yeah.
I'm reaching out for more help to get me more motivated right now.
Yes, Diana uses it, I think.
Yes.
Cool. So have you enjoyed it? Has it worked well for you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. Maybe we'll have Diana give a talk on Scribofile. She's in here. She is not on today. So Linda, please write down Scribofile and other type of advanced beta reading stuff. I would love to hear a talk on that. But Lori, other than writing a short story about home construction and getting motivated for that, is there anything you would like to see from the co-op that could help you? I know you're obviously writing a lot right now, but is there something that could help you move forward?
Keep asking me questions about whether I've worked on the book cover or not.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
the book cover, because I fell down for a month now, and I
That's
need to get back to that.
okay. I'll keep mentioning it every time you join. I'll do it. No problem. Thank you, Lori. I'll put you back on mute. We've already talked to Linda. We're going to go to the man with a plan in a warmer climate, Roland. What are your goals for this year? And what would you like to see from the co-op?
Well, I don't think Kingston, Washington is that much warmer.
Oh, you're back. You're back. I thought you were in Arizona still.
No, I haven't gone yet.
Okay.
And it's up in the air, so I may not.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, really my first order of business has been and continues to be trying to finish last year's NaNoWriMo novel, which is kind of stalled at the moment. And there are other things swimming around my head that I haven't the brain power right now to get into. So as far as things wanting from the co-op, continue on with all the educational stuff that's been coming. It's all good. I can't really say I've been able to utilize much of it, just from my own side, not that it hasn't been utilizable, probably, by most people. So that's really it. I'm kind of in low listening mode today rather than forthcoming.
No problem. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything from the co-op that you might want to see other than just continuing?
Well, you mentioned that graphic book presentation that you would like to see. Yes, that would be very interesting as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I second that. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, no problem, Roland. Thank you. The next one I have is Sue Old. You're next in the list. How are the vampires coming, and how many more books are you going to write?
The vampires are doing well.
Is the river flooding, and are the
It
deer
hasn't
still eating all your
bothered.
bushes?
Oh yeah, we're staying dry. We're fine. I hope to publish 2 books and 2 novellas this year. Those are my goals really. And I really love the co-op and the support from this group. My only thing I really would like would be more help with marketing. So that's kind of it for me. Joel might have something to say about it.
I know we've covered it in the past, but I think it would be helpful to do a kind of a basic beginner's level, I guess you could call it, on using BookFunnel and Goodreads. And the other thing, actually, Matt, you've kind of gotten a good start on is getting more different presenters for this coming year on some different things that we really haven't touched on before.
I agree.
Sue, I have a question. You said you want some more help on promotion, on marketing. What is there a specific area of marketing that you want information about? Because marketing's a huge thing. Are you talking about passive marketing, like websites and newsletters, or are you talking about ads?
More like ads. I'm trying to think of how to expand my readership outside of the state of Washington more. If there's other markets I can reach, outside of Washington. So.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. International, Transylvania. I was about to type it, Tony.
No, really.
Yeah, vampires are big in Romania. No.
Yeah. Or if there's, seriously. Or bookstores. If there's, if anyone has any ideas of how to contact bookstores out of state or whatever, Cool.
Okay. Sounds good. That'd be a good idea. See if we can, I think maybe to echo what you just said is maybe getting your books into physical locations you can't drive to within an afternoon.
Right.
So, okay. So somewhere beyond, that'd be good.
Hey,
That's a good idea.
Thanks.
Matt?
Yeah.
Would this be an opportune moment to just, I can do it in about a minute, talk about the anthologies?
You are more than free. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, so we got the best laid plans got sidetracked a little bit. We're, as Linda said, we're back on track. We're got a little bit more proofreading, editing to do on a few of the stories, and then it'll go to Linda for formatting and getting it ready for that. And once that's wrapped up, then, because we had kind of shelved the 7 Deadly Sins, and once that's done, then I can get back to getting that one done. And off the top of my head, I'm really not sure, but it's probably about half to 3/4 of the way done as far as from the proofreading editing standpoint, and then cover formatting and all of that stuff. So I kind of want to get the best laid plans wrapped up, and then we can get back to work on the other one. I guess that the one that was asking is Edward. So does that kind of answer your questions there?
Yes, thank you. What I wanted to remind you and your publishing committee is if the writers themselves can be of any help, please don't hesitate to contact at least me, or I know a couple of other writers who've asked the same questions.
Okay. And just not just to you, but to anybody, if that you have any concerns, or you haven't heard, or just curious about anything, just shoot an email anytime. Awesome. All righty. Back to you, Matt.
No problem. Thank you, guys. So I have Sue. Okay, you're on You're on mute. Okay, great. So Susan, Tony, I'm going to ask for some elegant handoff here. I have to go put a little 19-month-old rambunctious child down for nap, and I'm the only human being right now on the planet that can do that. So I ask you, Susan and Tony, to talk for the next 7 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever about your goals, what you want for the co-op. Maybe
Matt,
Linda.
If you just stop reproducing an entire race of people, you wouldn't have these problems.
Edward, I have taken care of that medically. I am done. It is impossible. It is physically impossible now to do that. So
give a hug to all of them for us.
I will. So I'm gonna throw it over to Susan. If you could do your goals, and then when you're done, could you hand it off to Tony, and I will be back in a flash.
I can do that, but I really don't know how you're going to keep going, Matthew, without hearing about all my goals. I mean, really. So, okay. Hi, everybody. My goals, this past year, I sort of had tentative goals to learn about marketing and to also get some critical response to my books. And I did that because I won a contest, and then I got a really good review in Kirkus, which is hard to do. So I've got that piece done, and I've been doing a lot of research into marketing. So next year, what I need to do is actually implement all of that, because I've got, like Matthew likes to call it, social proof that the books are good. And I've done the work on marketing to learn how to do it, because believe me, that is not something that comes naturally to me. And so my goal for next year is to take the books that I've been writing all year, because I've got 5 or 6 ready to go, and actually implement marketing plans that are more than, the stealth marketing that I love so dearly. Sort of like not expecting the universe to find my books, but kind of putting it out there so that the universe can at least stumble over them. So that's my big plan. Other things I want to do is try to connect more with writers just about writing. Linda and Sue and I have been working on putting together an anthology, an urban fantasy anthology. And the writing is fun, but what's most fun is the fact we just sit and talk about writing, sometimes for 2 or 3 hours. And I miss having those discussions just about writing, about, well, I do this, this fell apart, this was good, that kind of stuff. My goal for next year, of course, is to keep writing. I'd like to try to do a short story every month, and I want to get some books up and going, because I've been working on editing and finishing books and projects and stuff like that. Now, from the co-op, what I want is, it's sort of hard to describe, but I'll do my best. I've mentioned it before. I want to learn and consider strategic publishing, because what I've done is I've built up a backlog of, I have content to publish, I have the social proof to put behind it, I've started to do the marketing piece, and what I want is to have a sense that goes over the year, over 2 years, over 5 years, that's fairly detailed, sort of like, and on this date I will do this, and this will build onto this. Kind of like an overarching, almost career path, because in the last 2 or 3 years, what I've done is I've gotten a book, I've put it together, I've put it out, gotten a book, put it together, put it out. And I think that there's a better way to do that. And I'm starting to think about it a lot more in terms of long-term goals, like almost how does it feel? How is it going to feel when I put these things out? What is, I'm using buzzwords, the gestalt of the whole thing. So that's really important to me, and that's something I would love to talk to people about. I don't know whether it's just like one-on-one, one-on-two conversation, or that's something that the co-op can address, but that's very important to me. I think along those lines, I think something that we could do as a group would be to have like writing salons, which would be talk about writing, talk about literature, talk about
the direction things are going, an informal thing that is just loosely structured. Maybe somebody to be not exactly a moderator, someone to be the host and keep it going. Another thing that I would like from the co-op is some delineation about genre marketing, because I write in several genres, I know that you don't market every genre exactly the same way. And I think that for all of us with working in various genres and with different objectives, that kind of thing might be helpful. And finally, one of the things I thought would be helpful for the co-op to put together would be, again, I'm not sure how to describe it, but I'll do it the best I can. A lot of the members, and I'm included, is when we start, we're like, oh my God, I've got to do this. Oh no, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. What about this? I can't do this. And so a person gets paralyzed. I think it would be really helpful if we put together some kind of a plan or a document that the beginning writer needs to do this, 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 and this to publish. And then the next tier writer does this, 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 and this. So that a person kind of has a checklist. It's almost like when you go to college, you know, you do your 101 courses, then you do your 201, then your 301, and then you graduate. And I think that we're sort of throwing the whole curriculum at everybody all the time. And not that I think we should stop doing it, because we all have different levels and we need different things. But I think if people had an individual plan, checklist kind of thing, which is sort of what we're doing today, that would be helpful. So that's what I have to say.
I have a couple of questions. I mean, one, I wanted to ask Lori about, she said on Scribophile, some writers' posts are exploring writing lines in capitals. Any thoughts? I'm not sure what she means. And then I'll address your last piece. Lori, you want to come off mute and explain that?
Maybe she went to make tea.
Maybe she did. About what you were just saying, Susan, about and I've lost. Oh, about coming up with some sort of template for people to use. The only problem with that is most people have such individualized careers, and so it would be difficult to, you know, put everything in there that they need to do for the first stage and the second stage and the third stage and stuff. But I think it's a good idea, but it's going to be tricky. That's all.
I think I was thinking of it more along the lines of, when I started self-publishing, this is what I did first. And right. This is what I needed to do second. And this is what I needed to do third, rather than I need to do Amazon marketing, and I need to do promotions, and I need to do newsletters, and I need to do cover design, and all of these different things.
Yeah.
And I was thinking more along the lines of, if it's your first book and you're trying it out, do this. If you're real comfortable, just keep on going through the list of things you can do. But it's sort of like, people will do like charts of things like with education and everything, critical to know, important to know, nice to know. So we want to get people on the critical to know and then move them to the important, then to the good to know. Like Amazon ads are good to know. They're not critical. How to format your book is critical.
Yeah.
How to choose a good cover is critical.
Right. It's just I think different people approach. They don't do this one. They don't necessarily do A first and then do B and then do C. They might do C first and then B and then A. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. But it's, yeah, basically the same. Mostly it's the same stuff.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just thinking more in terms of delineating this sort of like the person standing there with a finished typed manuscript and doesn't have a clue what to do. What do you do? That kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'll give some thought to that, and maybe we can come up with something.
Yeah, I don't think that's a presentation thing. I think that's maybe a document that the co-op.
Yeah, I agree. Lori says, yes, that means writing lines like, and I don't understand what she's trying to say. So, Lori, I need more words. Sorry. So
I am done with what I was going to say. So unless anybody has questions, I'll turn it over to Linda and or Tony.
I think Lori's talking. Trying
Okay.
to talk. Okay.
I mean that they're writing all in capitals. Dialogue lines.
That has its place. I mean, basically it's when people do that, it's shouting. But if you do that all the time, it means nothing. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing that with. You know, it's, sometimes that's okay here and there, but if you use it too much, it just diminishes its power. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. And Andy has a quick question before we go to Tony about publishing company. Is a LLC. You don't really need an LLC unless you're making $150,000 a year. I have it's called a sole proprietorship, and I share it with my husband. So I don't know why they call it sole, but essentially, I just registered with the state. It's a business, and you have to register with the state if you want to have a bank account that is for your business. And I did because I need to have a place to put money when Amazon pays me. So I think it costs like $35 and you can do it all online. You just need to go through and start Googling and doing a search to make sure that nobody has your press name or your publishing company name, but it's easy peasy to do, and the website walks you through it. So I think it's time for Tony to talk. Yeah, Tony does everything in her name. I wanted to have a publishing company because I started out with several pen names, and I wanted to be able to publish them all under that press.
Okay, my turn. I actually was prepared to talk about goals at the last meeting, so I've still got it all typed up. I want to finish the fifth Mildred by Valentine's Day. I need to start on a second book for the year. I want 2 books this year. I've got several ideas, and if we come up with this inspiration salon, I'll be there. I also want to write 1 short story a month now. And yesterday I got into the 24-hour not poetry contest, but short story contest for writer's art. And I turned one in, 31 minutes to spare and 3 words to spare. So I also have a goal. I've got a list of some of my ideas, but I'll skip past those. I also have a goal of only visiting the cookie jar once a day and stop playing the extra solitaire games and get busy on my writing. I did do 36 reviews on books this year. I hope to do better. And I just signed up for the Amazon business class. It's a master class. I signed up for that, and it'll be the 14th. I did get a press release into the Everett Herald on my book, and it made absolutely no difference at all in sales. In fact, that week I made as much money walking. I found a quarter and a dime. I will make a promise now that everything after the first $1 billion I earn, I will donate to the cooperative. So I walked today trying to get some ideas on what I wanted from the cooperative. And the main thing that keeps coming to mind is a virtual bookstore where all the members, we can have a site or something where all the members can have their books in the bookstore. And I'd also like to learn more about audiobooks. I see that they're getting to be a real trend, and lots of people are going that route. And I don't know if we could put together a side project or a company or something to do audiobooks, maybe earn us some more money. I did go down to Crafty Bees in Edmonds and negotiated a 25-75 split on books. They're mostly a craft store there in Edmonds. I don't know how well we'll do there, but she was darn happy to have me walk in. On my list, I also have Inspiration Camp, which Susan kind of covered. I'd also like to come up with, a real concrete marketing plan. I've been buying and going into different web pages, and that did great for over a year. And then the past month or so, everything seems to have just ended. We also talked about maybe doing a write week where I'm not exactly sure how we've got that idea for a week of writing and checking in, inspiration sharing. I would also really need to learn more about Instagram. I noticed a lot of the more successful authors I've friended on Facebook are going over to Instagram. And what I did is I paid a 15-year-old to set it up, and they say they could tell the difference between a 15-year-old and a 72-year-old, but I don't know how. They finally have it where I don't have to do it on my phone. And that's about what I've got the strategic publishing down to. Just as I've talked to people, I've made notes. But that's kind of where I'm at right now on what I'd like to see or need to see. So do we have...
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm here. So that's great. I agree with you, Tony. Instagram would be interesting. I know we're doing it with our podcast, and it's been fairly successful. So it's been interesting, but it depends on how you use it. So that's where I've seen, and it's very difficult to learn how to use. So
in February, Sue is going to do a short thing on Instagram for us.
Ooh, that sounds good.
What date in February? Well, not date, but is it the third meeting?
Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to check my calendar, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
Cool. Alrighty. Did we get anybody else join the call? Other than, okay, so I'll go last here. So my goals for this year, I used the sheet that Susan sent out, so I tried to fill things in. First part of the year, I'm mainly going to be focusing on building up my autoresponders again, getting those all set up so that as I onboard new subscribers to my news list, I'm pushing them through a bunch of autoresponders. I'm cleaning out the chaff, and so they would unsubscribe as they get the emails, and then I can bring in people who are higher quality, and then maybe hopefully boost the quality of my newsletter list. I'm going to sync those with my book funnel giveaways that I do, and so as I bring on new subscribers, they'll be funneled through there. So that's kind of a little bit of an infrastructure thing I'm doing. I'm going to finish my last Necro book, so I'll be done with that series. That'll be really nice. I'm finishing my I have a series of short stories that I've been bundling together called the Monroe Stories, so I'm going to be finishing those as well. My goal this year is to do about 18 newsletters, about one a month, maybe with one extra per, for 6 months or so, every other month I'll have an extra newsletter. It's kind of the cadence I'm looking at, 12 to 18. Later in the year, I have I kind of a novella short novel that I want to get out called Lead Racket. So that's the next thing. By the end of this year, I'm planning on moving on to my kind of dark fantasy series that I want to write for next year. So I'll be writing there. So at the end of this year, I think I'll be writing really heavily, but I'll be backfilling with some short stories to keep my newsletter alive and excited. I'm also working on art, both physical art, so just hand drawing, hand painting, watercolors, things of that nature, as well as digital art. And the digital art would be with the Unreal Engine. And what I want to do is I want to use that as kind of a world building tool to do graphic design for my up and coming series as kind of additional collateral that would be wrapped around the book. So that's kind of the where I'm focusing there. So this year is kind of publishing the rest of my back catalog, and then beginning to write new books for next year that will be published next year. Hopefully, it's like 1,000. I think it's going to be 1,000-page series, so maybe 3 books, maybe 4 books. So I'll probably be writing that most of this year and then into next year. And that's what I'm working on. I think, let's see, there's a couple questions. Do you have paperback versions available for purchase? Yes, Andy. So I did have that when I was on CreateSpace, but I haven't actually done any printing since CreateSpace kind of got pulled into KDP. And so I'm actively migrating and resetting up all of my print books for maybe later this year when we start to sell in person. So I'm redoing my covers. I'm setting all that back up, but that's currently on the back end of the importance because it's not as hot and heavy right now. Maybe towards the end of Q1, early Q2, I'll start to ramp that up a lot more for my physical books. I also have just some infrastructure cleanup on past books. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through some of my early books, my first and second and third book, and then just kind of clean those up and reread them, maybe do some line edits, things of that nature, just to kind of improve the quality because I'm going to be running a lot of people through those books, and I want to make sure that I can boost the quality up a little bit. Also, I've been using my Excel sheet, tracking like my global kind of the granular nature of my breakdown of each task, but I have been using the Windows To-Do app, which is both a web interface like through a browser, but also is on my phone. And I have it here. I'm sharing the screen. So I tend to do a work in progress model. So I only have a very limited number of things that I can read or work on at any one time. So it limits what choices I have. And so I keep that it helps me keep me on task and close out items as I'm working. It doesn't mean I'm going to finish all my goals for the year, but it does keep me focused and I don't get distracted. So I can only work what's on my WIP, work in progress, and I limit that to about 6 to 7 items. And so I'll show you here that has been very effective for me to actually get my stuff done, and something I use to do that. What about a discussion about how to see and build quality into our work? I think that would be good, Susan. I think Linda, maybe if you take some note in there, that would be really good. Is there any other questions? No. Okay, so those are kind of my goals. I think I mentioned throughout what everybody else was mentioning and things that I'd like to see, and those would be kind of the things that I'd like to see for that. I also have some goals for the co-op for this year. I'm going to be redoing the website, and then I'm going to be ramping up the digital presence to help some of the writers here be able to use kind of a growing community of readers for the co-op that you can then leverage to help build your own promotions. And so hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have that working. And I'm putting in the infrastructure there to do that. And I'm going to redo the co-op website, and it's going to be simplified. So I'm going to be leveraging your Amazon author pages and not listing all of your books because it's just less work for me. It's a selfish thing. But I'll be listing all the authors, but then it'll be linking to your Amazon pages. And so the co-op website becomes more of a centerpiece for new readers and people interested in joining the co-op, as opposed to this content machine that pumps out a lot of content like we tried to do a couple of years ago. So we're kind of going more towards a publisher, looking like a publisher as opposed to a content platform. So I don't have to do as much work also. How about a roster of the co-op membership? Yes. So part of that, Edward, will be done through the newsletter. So we're going to have a general newsletter. So Susan doesn't have to remember on Friday night to send out the email in her, Hotmail or Gmail. We're actually going to use an email provider to do that now and make it a little bit easier. Go ahead.
My question was, what do you want from the co-op? I mean,
What do I?
What you're going to do for the co-op, but I want to know what you want from the co-op.
What do I want from the co-op? I want to see more writers. Okay. I want to say this in a nice way. I want to see more writers doing instead of listening and saying. And that's, I think, my biggest goal is I want to see more people jumping into it, whether they're scared or not. I know there's I think we have 30 or 40 people in the co-op paying members. We have about 12, 15 people who've been attending these meetings, and then a smaller amount of people that are actually every month they're trying to do it. I want to see more of those people. I would love a co-op that has a lot more people, because then we can begin to leverage other people. So I like the idea that Susan had. I think I caught the tail end of her suggestion of having more of a 101, 201, 301 to help people through that initial process. And then also helping people with checklists, because it does seem like that's something that people like to see. Like, I have to do these things. And I agree with what you said, Linda. It does become more chaotic the more you do, the further in the marketing waters you go. But there are some basic things that I think get people over the hump and get them started. And I'd like to see more of that, as opposed to just kind of random talks. A little bit more of like a course level type of stuff. So maybe that's what I'd like to see. All right, when we started, okay. So content-wise, I've already said, the content-wise, I'd like to see from the children's book authors what they want to, how they specifically do their work. And maybe if you can include Roland in there, who's done some print stuff as well. I'd like to know how they did that, because I've asked that question on some of my forums, and I haven't really got very good answers. So I'd like to see it from people who've actually done it. Cool. All right. So I think we hit everybody. Does anybody have any other questions, any other comments they'd like to see? Okay. Actually, Linda, here's something. I want to train somebody to be able to run this meeting for when I'm up at my parents' place and they have garbage snail level internet. That's what I'd like to say. One other person who can start and queue up the meeting. That's what I would like.
That would be awesome. Okay, so any of you people with decent internet, this is your chance.
I'm up for that, Matt.
I can train you. It's not hard.
Yeah, not a problem. So
okay, cool.
We'll talk.
It's not every week, but some weeks, man, I get
No, that's fine.
I was running it on my phone last time, which I can do, and I could start the recording and do all of it. So, all right,
yeah,
cool.
But if you get run over by a truck, we're screwed.
Yeah, those trucks, man, they're everywhere. All right. So if nobody has any other questions or any other comments, Linda, you can volunteer me for the audiobook stuff. I can definitely step up and do that. Also, Diana, I know right now is building an actual audiobook studio at her house in Sultan.
Woohoo!
So there may be a great place once the pandemic's over to go record if you're a insomniac like Diana. So if maybe I'll stop the recording. So we'll go ahead and